Hi, thank you for your time today. Today I'd like to show you a PowerLink solution suited to clients paying expatriate employees fixed net pay in their home currencies. So the expat earns $1,000 banked net. We need to calculate the local currency net through a fluctuating exchange rate. Next, we work out the grossing up and the tax and update the Attaché timesheet in the local currency. So that's the purpose of this Nett Foreign Currency solution. To calculate a net foreign currency amount in the local currency in an Attaché timesheet with the correct grossing up and tax so that the payroll can be run in local currency with expats being paid in their home foreign currency at an agreed net foreign currency rate. So what are all of these letters? These letters represent the functional components of the solution. First, we have NFC, the net foreign currency, which calculates the home pay, fluctuating with the exchange rate, being calculated as a local net, grossed up and taxed, and entered on the Attaché timesheet. Next is PP. The pay point determines the currency that the employee is to be paid in, the home currency. PS is for pay slips in dual currency. We have a comment line which records the exchange rate. We can print pay slips in their home currency or in dual currencies, both home and local. And pay slips are editable, being a PowerLink report. Finally, the FB component is for foreign banking. The payroll banking report sorts the employees' pays by currency and then by bank, providing totals for each level of the report for easy payment. So that's what all those letters mean. NFC, PP, PS, FB stands for Net Foreign Currency using pay points with pay slips and foreign banking. Now, here's a flow chart that shows the integration of Attaché and the PowerLink solution. We start with the Attaché active pays. They need to be the active timesheets unchecked so that we can read in a KFI of the tax amounts and the gross up allowance. Now the PowerLink solution reads those active pays as well as the pay element details for income types, etc., and allows us to print an exchange rate report which ensures that the exchange rates entered are consistent. Next, we can generate the tax import KFI file and read them back into the active pays in Attaché timesheets. Then we can generate the foreign currency banking report for the current pay run and print the pay slips in foreign currency. So we start with the timesheets in local currency in Attaché. We read the active pays into PowerLink and check the exchange rates. Then we generate the KFI file with the tax and the gross up allowance, and we read that back into the Attaché timesheet screen. Then we can go back into PowerLink and print the banking and the pay slips in foreign currency. Next, I'll take you for a tour of the solution in action, starting with the Attaché timesheet. Multi-location payroll is just fine for this solution. Note the pay point is AUD and determines the currency. So the pay point is AUD. Now, income types in this system are used to convert from the foreign currency that the employee's master file rate of pay is in to the local currency. So we need to use norm AUD on this AUD employee's timesheet. The AUD converts the employee's Australian dollar rate of pay into the local currency on the timesheet. Timesheets ultimately are always in local currency. So, if we go look at how that income type is set up, under Setups, Payroll, Income Types, and we'll maintain Norm AUD. And you'll notice that the rate multiplier is actually storing the exchange rate from AUD to, in this case, PGK, Kina. Now in the employee master file, we'll have a look at this employee. They earn 155,000 Australian dollars per year. So the normal rate per year is 155,000. The pay point is AUD. So the employee is going to be paid 155,000 Australian dollars, which is to be converted on the timesheet by the income type Norm AUD into local currency. So the income type, again, has the rate multiplier. So we're taking the employee master file rate of pay times that rate multiplier to get the local currency, so that the timesheet is in local currency and can be taxed in local currency and grossed up in local currency. So this employee is to be paid a net 32,937.51 PGK for the month. That's a net figure. The tax will be overridden, so that figure is meaningless, and we'll be adding an allowance to offset that tax, which preserves the net. Next, we'll go and look at each of the functional components of the PowerLink solution itself. F6 Exchange Report. Per currency lists the income types and their exchange rates so that you can ensure they're consistent. F2 Read Pays reads Attaché's unchecked timesheets, and in the list where net pay attaché is 0, it means KFI hasn't been imported. F7 Import Tax generates the KFI file to read into Attaché containing the tax and the gross up. When PowerLink asks, did the file import OK, switch to Attaché so you can read in the KFI. Use keystroke file import to read in the tax and gross up. Go back to PowerLink and say yes, and you'll note that the Attaché net pay figure has been updated because it's now on the Attaché timesheet. F3 Bank Accounts. Foreign bank accounts often require longer fields and additional details, and these can be entered here to be printed on the banking report. F8 Banking prints the banking report for the current pay run in foreign currency, sorted by currencies and bank, and totaled, allows you to pay and reconcile easily. F4 Check Payslips generates the payslip data for the current pay run in a spreadsheet-like format, showing all lines of all payslips. For example, this is the payslip lines for the timesheet that we've been looking at for employee code NERF. Note the printed column, which indicates whether or not the lines of the timesheets have been printed or not. If you click All Printed at the top, it'll mark all timesheets as having been printed. I'm going to click Printed on one line of the timesheet and press Enter, and it unmarks them as printed. Only unprinted payslips are printed when you press F9, Print Payslips. In this example, we only have one unprinted payslip. When you hit F9, you have a choice of yes to auto-print all unprinted payslips in one run, no to print one payslip and come back to this message, or cancel to abort and stop printing payslips. Once payslips are printed, they're marked printed in the listing, so they aren't automatically printed again. Those are the functional components of the PowerLink solution. Now let's look at the results of the KFI file in the Attaché timesheet. Two new lines are added, an exchange rate comment and the gross up tax allowance. Fixed tax is entered, which is exactly the same figure as that gross up tax allowance. The fixed tax and the tax allowance offsetting each other maintains the net pay on the timesheet. Now, as we've seen, exchange rates are set within income types: setups, payroll, income types, maintain. And if we look at norm AUD, the AUD suffix on the code determines its currency. The rate multiplier determines the exchange rate from home currency on the employee master file to local currency on the timesheet. The exchange rates should be the same for all income types for each currency. Next, we'll look at what happens when we need to edit a timesheet after we've imported the KFI. When PowerLink generates the KFI, it skips any timesheets that already have fixed tax or a tax allowance. So to get PowerLink to see this timesheet again, we need to delete those two lines and reset the fixed tax. We only need to do this if, after reading in the KFI, we find that we need to change the net pay or the benefits in kind and recalculate the tax and regenerate the KFI. So, F6 to delete the line on the comment, F6 to delete the line on the allowance, select fixed tax and hit F5 for auto tax to reset it. And now PowerLink will recognize this timesheet again. So you can make changes as necessary and it will be included in the next KFI that's read in to update timesheets for the tax. This solution requires ODBC. We need two DSNs, one pointing to the payroll data and one pointing to the Attaché sample payroll data. The Attaché sample payroll data must have multi-location set to yes in payroll options or it won't work. Make sure when you're setting up your ODBC DSNs that all of the tables are selected to be published. Click Select All in the toolbar at the top of the ODBC DSN administrator when you're setting them up. This makes them available for the PowerLink solution. Now, PowerLink data setups are to be found under Setups, System, Options in PowerLink. First, we'll look at external data links, where we set up the table names that we need PowerLink to have access to. All of these tables are of type ODBC and point to either the main data or the sample payroll data. And they point to various data tables. This is all in an Excel spreadsheet and in the documentation. Next, we have a look at the ODBC tab, and we put in the main ODBC data source for the current payroll data. Now we save, exit PowerLink, and then re-access PowerLink, and the ODBC and external data links should all be active. Let's look at the whole process from start to finish to show you how easy it is to set this system up and use it. We'll start by looking at the employee master file. The important information in the employee master file is on the pay details screen, and that is the pay rate type is year, the normal rate per year is in the home currency of the employee, and the home currency of the employee is specified in the pay point. The next item to look at is setting up income types. For example, ALAUD, annual leave in Australian dollars with the rate multiplier being the exchange. Same with norm AUD. All income types end in their currency code if they contain the rate multiplier as the exchange rate. Now, allowances can be set up the same. For example, bonus AUD has exchange rate. It's a quantity type, so it ultimately converts to local currency. The goal of these setups is to have timesheets represented in local currency, while the employee's master file stores the net home pay. This employee is in PayPoint USD and uses norm USD to convert their home pay into local pay for the timesheet. This employee is in PayPoint AUD, uses norm AUD to convert to local currency, and those are the core Attaché setups. Now we'll have a look at PowerLink. First thing to do in PowerLink is import the solution, which you should already have received by email and saved to the desktop. Setups, Solution Builder, Import Solution. Find the solution zip file and open. Select all. Import. Suppress messages and OK. And the solution imports. Once the solution has imported, we can exit and go and do the data setups. Setup system options, external data links. We can go to our spreadsheet that has our external data links already on it. Select the data link information and copy. Go back to PowerLink. Select the row and paste. Yes, we want to paste those 6 records, and the information's in there. Now we go to ODBC tab, put in the ODBC DSN for this company, connect, and save. And now we quit PowerLink. And go back into PowerLink. And now we can use the solution. Before we run the solution, we'll just check the setups under Setup System Options. And check the ODBC. Current ODBC status is OK. Now the solutions, payroll calculations, calculate pays, runs the solution. We'll check the exchange report first. And make sure our exchange rates are correct. Then we'll read pays to make sure our timesheets are up to date in the system. Note the net pay attachés are 0. We haven't imported anything. Now, bank accounts. We can enter some extra data into the employee's bank accounts, which can be printed on the banking report. Any data that you type into a PowerLink screen like this is saved as soon as you're finished typing it and go to another field. So, we finish editing the bank accounts. That information is now saved. We'll go back and read pay. So we've got latest up-to-date information, and hit import tax to generate the KFI file. We say OK. It's 275 is the number on the file. And now we go over to Attaché to import it into timesheets via KFI. Select 275, it reads in the lines and the fixed tax. Now we go back to PowerLink. Yes, it did. And note the net pay attaché now has the figures in it because those are the figures coming from the attaché timesheet. We can print the banking report. We can check pay slips, which will generate the lines on the pay slips. There's 2 pay slips with several lines each. We can mark them, unmark them, mark them all, unmark one. So now if we print, only that one pay slip will print. We can print all in a run by saying yes, or just one at a time by saying no. As soon as it's printed, it's marked as printed on the screen. And now we'll create that PDF. The PDF is created in the background. So we'll exit PowerLink. There's the payslip in multiple currencies. And that's all there is to it. Thanks for your time today looking at the Nett Foreign Currency solution. Have a great day.